speaking of going to France, your former team Ulster have to do that. They have to go to Clermont.
Yeah.
What do you make of Ulster? Is it just the usual? You know, they beat Leinster at the RDS, then they lose to the Ospreys just last week. Just up and down, Matt, or where do you think Ulster are at the moment?
Oh, I think the Ospreys defeat would have been shattering for the team, because I actually think they're over that stew. I think they've matured and moved on, and I think Dan McFarlane, their coach, has done an outstanding job up there. And they were equal first in the competition, and then the lose of the Ospreys is very disappointing. Now they did make a lot of changes. Let's be very fair to them. There was I haven't got the exact number here in front of me, but I think there was only 2 players left in the pack from the pack that played Leinster. So they have made a lot of changes, but that still doesn't take away the fact that they got beaten. But if you're going to lose a game, it's not bad to do a week before Europe starts, because that'll refocus them. And as Alan said, European weeks, they got an edge to them. Ulster is a club that highly value Europe. The supporters value it, the committees value it, and the players and staff value it. So they'll want to do well in it. They've got a really tough assignment away to Clermont. Stade Michelin there, Frederick Michelin is a really, really hard place to go. I was there a long time ago, and I got a win there, and I can tell you we won by the skin of our teeth. But not many teams go there and pick up the win. So I saw them play last week. That is Clermont, and they are mauling exceptionally well. They've still got some old stages in their back line that are guiding them around. The generals are there. Camille is still there at 10, and they're going to move Ulster around a lot and confront them a lot where Ulster don't like it. Now, and again, at Ravenhill on a cold, wet Friday night is a completely different kettle of fish to going over to Clermont and playing them in what looks to be cold, clear weather in front of a packed house in Clermont. So I think Ulster will really know a lot more about them at full time if they've got what it takes, or are they just pretenders? And it'll be a very interesting one. I actually think Clermont will win it. I'd like to see Ulster win it, but the loss last week does put questions in your mind. The only thing we can say to put that loss into perspective is I think Coach McFarlane was preparing for this week and sacrificed last week. He didn't want to lose that game. He didn't think he would, but I think there was a reason for it.
Yeah, Quinny, what do you make of Ulster? They have a couple of missing: Henderson, Jordy Murphy. Clermont, I think, of Lopez, Pinot, Rocket, to name a few. They still have a lot of stars in Clermont. They mightn't be the side they used to be, but it's going to be very, very difficult for Ulster, isn't it, Quinny?
It is going to be very difficult. I think there's a lot of Lavanini is missing as well. Obviously, he's serving a suspension, but whether they play Vahamahina, Arthur Turia is there, Morgan Parra, Lopez, Fritz Lee, Yato's a great player, the Fijian back row. So they've a lot of power, they've a lot of pace, they play with great wit to their game, and nothing's changed as regards going to Clermont, because it's a wonderful stadium. The crowd get behind them. If they get a flow to their game, they go crazy, and the players respond to that. So for Ulster, and I think they've been there before, they'll realise the atmosphere, and they'll understand that if you don't control the tempo of the game, you're in big trouble if they get on the front foot. And, just look at Munster last year. They went there. Clermont started like a house on fire. Early tries looked like they were going to blow Munster off the field, and then Munster start this remarkable comeback and believe in themselves. They're accurate, they hold on to the ball, and if you build, we probably say this a lot about French teams, but if you build multiple phases, they switch off a little bit, no matter how talented these guys are. And you've got to do that in France if you want to be successful and be in with a chance of winning. You've got to retain possession. You've got to play with a bit of pace to your game. Players have got to step up and want to make hard yards, make carries, and you can stretch them. And Munster did that last year. And, you put that little bit of seed of doubt in their minds, and you start to believe as a team. And Ulster have got to do that. They've got to, I'm saying you got to go and start well. Well, look at Munster last year. They didn't start well. They started making mistakes, conceding tries, and you look like it's going to be a long, long day, and they end up with this remarkable win at the end of the game. I think Ulster have just got to believe in themselves, because I think they've shown us glimpses when they retain possession and when they hold on to the ball, and when they protect that ball and play with a little bit of wit and expansion, that they're a good side. But the problem, and we keep saying this about Ulster, and whether they like it or not, we're going to keep saying it, unless they back up a big win with another win, a hard one of these ones where you got to roll up the sleeves, and that was the Ospreys one. We talk about Leinster standards and people trying to attain that level and get to their level. They have more depth for sure, but there's a standard there that, and Mick Galway used to always say it to us as when he captained Munster, we don't, no matter what, if we lose one, we don't go out and allow another team beat us the week after. We find some kind of resolve or resilience to get that result no matter what, and you have a different kind of drive and temperament. And that was the disappointing thing for me with Ulster, that after the big win, the high of the win in the RDS, they needed to grind out a result over in the Ospreys. Now, the Ospreys made it very difficult for Munster a few weeks previous as well, and they have that ability to do that to teams. But I was just disappointed that they didn't find a way, and that kind of question mark still hangs over Ulster. I think when they play and they're on the front foot and they get their mojo going, they're a very good side and they can score tries, but it's just when they don't have the ball, making good decisions, and they've got to do that in Clermont. Will Vermeulen be available? He'd be a massive asset if he is, even though he hasn't played for them. But just his presence alone around there, and Henderson's a huge loss. Jordy Murphy, that kind of experience. But I think if they believe in themselves, they could certainly cause Clermont trouble. But you'd have to imagine Clermont are the side that are going to win this game.